Alright guys, today we're gonna make a general dialogue and subtitles in Amnesia for your custom stories, and these are very useful if you want to progress the story, or maybe have a thought that is said, or maybe the character that you're playing as is talking to himself, or maybe even some other characters are talking somewhere away from you in real time. So there are many uses for this, and subtitles is always nice to have. So of course it's very simple to play a sound effect at a certain place, but if you want subtitles, it's still pretty easy, but you just gotta know how to do it. And so right here I have prepared a little map, which I kind of like the decorations I put in here. They have no relevance to what's actually happening, but anyways, basically what I was using to what I'm gonna use to show how this works is that I have set up, as soon as you walk past here, there's gonna be two people talking in the room over there, so you'll be able to hear it depending on how close you are, so it's like 3D. This is not necessarily, but you can have the sound played directly on you, but this is one of the things it could be used for as well, so I'm just gonna show you that right now then.
So how are your children doing? Did they make new friends?
Well, they are happy, and they enjoy playing with other children a lot. But they keep having these awful nightmares lately.
Oh. And what are these nightmares about?
They won't tell me, but every time they look at me, I see terror in their eyes.
And then I just decided to blow up the door. That's just because if you want something to happen once the voices are done, you can. But of course they are... it's just something that if you don't know, it could be tricky to implement yourself, but if you know of it, it makes things a lot easier, but you don't need to use it. Anyways, that's pretty much it for the example, and now I guess we should go on and see how it's done. Alright, so here we are, and I have opened my custom story folder right here, which is in Amnesia Custom Stories, and this one has all the files that you need to be able to run a custom story functionally. And if you are missing any of these files, you can download the essential ones in my description. I will have a download link for them, as well as I will have a link to the engine scripts page that we're going to use a little bit. And lastly, if you're using a Windows computer, you can still use this tutorial because it works the exact same. Or Linux as well. I tend to forget that, but yeah, Linux too if you're using that. So yes, I guess we'll just get started, and I'm gonna open up that map file that I have right here. Maps, level8.map is what I currently have used for this example. So I'm just gonna open my level editor and open that map, and this is how it looks. It's a very small map, yeah, so just open up your map, any map, and the first thing I am going to do is to add the script area that you are going to collide with to execute this event. Of course, you can execute this event in any way, really. It's totally up to you how you want these voices to appear, but if you want them to appear as soon as you step into some kind of area, then you can do it this way. I'm just going to place a very small area right here that goes from bottom to top, and as soon as you step past this, you're going to execute the voices. So this is totally up to you how you want the voices to be executed. Like if you want to touch an item, or if you want to, I don't know, like walk through a door or unlock something, that's totally up to you. But I'm going to make a collision one, so I'm gonna make this area here, and I'm gonna name it area collide voice. Alright, area collide voice, and that is it for as soon as you collide with it. We're gonna script it up later to actually work, but you need the area in there, and you need the name of it. And next I'm going to place the area where the voice is going to be played at. So this is not actually necessary. You don't really need to have anything in the level to execute this whole event, because this is just, of course, how you want it to execute, and you can do that in other ways. And this one is where the sound is being played at, which you don't even need to. If you want the voice to be played directly on the player as a thought or something like that, or talking to yourself, then you don't need this area. But if you want the area, the sound to be played in a three-dimensional world, as in somewhere away from you, then you likely want to use an area, because areas are easier to just place anywhere because they're invisible, of course. But you can use an actual entity. So for example, you could play the sound directly on this clock, but it's easier to use an area because you can define it where you want it to be without having anything look different in the map. So I'm going to name this area voice and enter, and as soon as we have both of those areas, I'm just going to save the map right away, and we are done with everything in the map. There's barely anything to do in the map. So now I'm gonna minimize that, and now if you don't have a script file for your map, just make one. It's basically just a text file with HPS extension. You can of course download an example in my description or whatever, but anyways, just open up your script file. Mine is currently empty because I emptied it, and we're gonna put some code in here. So first of all, I'm just gonna type the very essential one that you probably already have in your script file, which is void on start with parentheses and brackets. So void on start is executed once you start the map, and you should know this. If you don't know this, then you should maybe look at some more basic tutorials. This one is pretty basic though, but I tend to expect people to know a little bit more the more I make these tutorials. But of course, if you have any troubles, then just ask me and I will try to explain the best I can. Anyways, after that, you're gonna go on this page that I shall have linked in the description. Let's just put it there actually. And this one actually says void on start right here. This link is in my description, which is for the engine scripts, and this one has a list of all the functions that you can use for scripting in the game. So pretty much we're going to use one of this in particular to actually execute the voices. So to find that, you can do Command and Control F to search up voice, which I have already, and it's actually right here. So this is the one that you want to look up and copy this, add effect voice, and this function along with all of the parameters all the way to the semicolon, just don't copy the void part, is what we're actually going to use. But since we actually need to add the Collide Callback, I'm going to search up Collide first. This is just how I'm executing it, as I am executing it as I said earlier. So damn it, I can't talk. So as I said, if you wanted to execute with walking into somewhere, then you can do it this way, but you don't have to. I'm just going to quickly define how to actually execute it. So the parent name is the player, which is entity 1. As soon as entity 1 collides with the entity 2, which is the area collide voice, then we're going to execute this custom function that I am going to name, let's call it dialogue, because I just use that word a lot in this particular, I guess dialogue is a general name for it. Anyways, delete on collide true, it will only happen once, and int else states 1, it will happen as soon as you enter. It doesn't matter too much, but the area is so small, so I'm just going to put it to 1, and basically this is going to launch the dialogue effect as soon as you enter this area, or the dialogue function. So we're going to have to make that void dialogue, and then we need the parameters, which are, they're always listed right below a callback, so just copy it from there and paste it right in. And here we're gonna open and close the block with squiggly brackets, or just brackets if you want. And inside here is where all the voices are going to be added. But before we do anything of that, we're gonna actually need the voice files, so I'm just gonna minimize a lot of these. And here we have the folder. I'm gonna go back to the main folder, and here I have another folder, which this is the folder with all the sound files that are actually going to be played. So dialogue 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and 1.4. Just be sure to name it something that is unique to anything in the whole Amnesia directory, because if the name matches, even if it matches to any other custom stories, then it might confuse the files, so just be aware of that. So that you might want to name it like the name of your custom story _ dialog11 or something. But anyways, right now this is unique to my my Amnesia root folder, so I am just gonna name it that. Anyways, if you don't have it in OGG format, just make sure it is OGG format, and I have linked in my description an OGG Converter if you don't know how to make them. So you can just upload an ordinary audio file like a WAV or a MP3, something like that, and you can download an OGG version of it. And if you were to listen to this first voice.
So how are your children doing?
Go away, update. Yeah, so basically this is the first character talking, and then there's the second character responding, and then the first character again, and the second one. So every time you want the subtitles to change to something else, you want to split it up to a different audio file. So whenever, as long as this sound file plays, it'll display a certain piece of text at the bottom, and when you play this one, the text will change to whatever you define it to. Because if you have this all in one text file, then you cannot change the dialogue during the file unless you use timers, but no, actually I don't think that works either. So you will not be able to change the subtitles during the file, so you can only change them between files. That's why you separate them up to these kind of files. So now that we have all these files in a folder, you can just name the folder whatever. I'm gonna place it in the root folder of Amnesia, or in the folder of the actual custom story. Yeah, so I'm gonna place it inside voice just to keep it a little organized. So you have voice dialogue, it just needs to be somewhere in here, and that is where well, as soon as they are in there, they will be recognized if the name does not match somewhere anything else in the whole root folder. You probably already understand that already. Okay, so let's continue. Alright, so now let's open up the script file again, and if you open up the browser as well and search up what we already did, the voice part, add effect voice, you can copy that one and you can put it inside this dialog function that we have already created. So I'm going to paste it in right there. Add effect voice. The string as voice file is the actual file of the dialogue that is being that's being played at this moment. So just put the name of it. Mine is dialog 1_1, which is the first one. And then there's the string as effect file. This one you can just keep empty. I believe this one is used if you want to play like a music effect in the background, like if you want to have like a theme or something, a little jingle or whatever, some sound file, additional sound file pretty much, then you can add that in here. But my dialogue, or my little dialogue thing, I'm not gonna have that. I'm just gonna have it silent. So you can add another OGG file in there if you want to, but it's unnecessary. And then we have the text category. This is alright, so let's open up the folder again. If you don't have extra english.lang, you can download it, but you probably already have it, and mine has quite a lot of text already, so just bear with me here. And basically the text category, this one, and the next one's text entry, will define what the subtitles will display. So I'm gonna open up the text, the extra english.lang, which pretty much has all the text stored in one file, and I am going to make a category for it. So so pretty much, let's open up the other file again. In text category, you can write something like, let's say dialogue. Let's write dialogue in there, and in the text entry we can write like talk 1_1. And then if you were to go back to the extra English, you would need a category called dialogue, or whatever you named it, and you would need a text entry that has the same name as talk 1_1, if that is what you named it, which will display the yeah, the subtitles, yeah, subtitles, okay. So basically I don't have that category yet. Pretty much if you have nothing in your file, this file will pretty much just look like language, category name, custom story main, which this is where the description of the main story is, and then there's slash category after every category ends, and then there's a new category. In my case, journal is right here, which ends all the way down here, and then there's inventory category. So just outside of any category, make a new category. So I'm just going to select this sign category. I'm also going to select banner, and just after a slash category, I'm going to paste it in right there. And then I'm going to do category name and edit sign to dialogue. And I'm also going to edit this to dialogue and remove some space there. And now I just use these to keep track of where my file is. I like to keep things organized. And then other than that, the entry that is going to be within it is going to have the same name as what you put in the script file. In my case, I put talk1_1, and then between the two brackets you put the text that is actually being displayed. So if you didn't actually quite catch that, then I guess you could try to imitate this. It's a little tricky for me to put this in my description. I would love to, but it isn't exactly possible because you can't put these diamond brackets in there, but I can replace them with parentheses, and you can copy it and then replace them yourself with diamond brackets personally. So I guess you could do that if you don't quite understand what to write in here. Just make sure that the category, everything is written with caps, or it's case sensitive pretty much, and that it is outside any other category. So it's not like it says category name slash category slash category. It needs to be category name and then slash, and then category name and then slash. Alright, so just find out what you want to have as subtitles. I have written them down here in this sticky note, so I'm just gonna copy them from here and paste them into the entries that I made in here under dialogue. So talk_1 or 1_1 is going to have this piece of text, and then I'm going to copy that line, paste it below it 4 times or 3 times because I have 4 in total. So it's going to be talk1_2, 3, and 4. And then I'm going to replace all of the text with the text that I have in the different in the different sound files. So replace this here. These are so just copy the text, and yeah, of course, just your subtitles will of course be different from mine depending on what the sound file are saying. Just try to make sure that it's actually the same as subtitles as are in the actual sound file. So now, after you made this, you can save this file, and you can just close it actually because we're done with it. You just need all of the things to match up. So if you go back to your script file right here, we still haven't finished this function yet, so I'm gonna go on the next one, which is after the entry. So this one is a boolean, so it's either true or false, and this one is use position. I believe it uses 3D. If you want this to be 3D, then put it to true. If you want it to be static or just on you, then put it to false. So basically, if you want to play it at an area or an entity, use true. If you want to play it at the player, so it's like always there, it's the same volume and everything, then put it to false. In my case, I'm going to put it to true because I want it to be played in 3D. And this is the entity. Inside this string, you write the name of the entity or area that you want the sound to be played at. So if you open the editor again, and you remember I placed this area, I'm going to be playing the same voice file at this area, which is area voice. There. The next one, the 2 last one actually, are the minimum and maximum distance for hearing this file. So this one, let's open up a paint just to demonstrate this, I suppose. Let's say this is where the sound file is being played. This is the area location, and if you put the maximum distance, the first one is the minimum distance. Let's put them all to 1 just to start with. 1, 1. Anyways, let's say the maximum distance is 10, and this is then 10 in radius. So as soon as you are within this radius of the area that is being played at, you will be able to hear it. But if this minimum one is 0, you'll be able to hear it all the way from there to the center. If the minimum one is, say, 5, then I believe you'll be able to hear it only as long as you are within this part of the map. So as long as you are within like the blue part right here, you'll be able to hear it. I'm not sure exactly if that is how it works, or if you're able to hear it within here, within the middle, but if I understand it correctly, that makes sense to me. I haven't tested it, but I think it would be kind of weird, but I think that could be how it is. But anyways, you wouldn't actually need this. If you put it to 0, you'll be able to hear it all the way from the outer edge all the way to the middle, like that. So anyway, let's just close that, and I'm going to put the minimum distance to 5 and the maximum distance to 10. So let's just keep it like that. After you have defined the whole line, you can copy it and paste it, just like we did in the lang file. Paste it 4 times and change the sound file that's being displayed. So, or yeah, the sound file that's being played. So the first one, if you put them after each other, they will play after each other. They won't play all at once or anything, because it basically says that it's okay to call this many times in order to play many voices in a row. So you can just call them all right there, and they will play as soon as the first one is finished. So it just depends on in which order you added them, and then they will play after each other. So also be sure to change this to 2, 3, and 4. In this will define what kind of subtitles will display from the lang file, so just be sure to remember to change those. And otherwise you can keep the other ones just the same. Just change the voice file and the text file, or text entry, and you can save the map from there, or save the script file. And from now on you are actually kind of done. If you would like something to happen after all the voices are done, you can use this one. This one actually, set effect voice over callback. So I mean, this is not necessary for having the text and everything, but if you saw that I destroyed the door when they were done, you can do this. I'm just adding this as a little bonus, I suppose. In this string you can put whatever you want for the function, so I'm going to call it voice done, and after that this function doesn't have any parameters, so just type void voice done, or whatever you put, open close and open close brackets. It's pretty much just like on start. If you actually type on start in here, it will execute on start again. So but other than that, you can put inside here whatever you want to happen after the voices. All the voices are done. It only happens as soon as all of these are done, or this stop function has been called. Anyways, I'm gonna just search up what I did last time, which is set prop health, and I'm just gonna copy set prop health, put it into this function, and the name of the prop that I want to destroy is the mansion _2, which is the name of the door by default, and the health 0, it will die. I'm just gonna save that. It's not necessary, as I said, but I just want to add that feature. If you would like something to happen, it's all up to you, of course. So now we are done, and I'm just gonna play through it one more time, and let's see how it looks this time. Alright, back in the level, and I guess we just jump right into here where we have the area.
So how are your children doing? Did they make new friends?
Well, they are happy. They enjoy playing with other children a lot, but they keep having these awful nightmares lately.
Oh. Loud.
They won't tell me, but every time they look at me, I see terror in their eyes.
Boom. Yeah, so as you can see, it all worked, and of course if you would like it just to be played at your character, it's a lot easier. You don't define an entity, and you just put the 3D to false, and it will be just playing in your head pretty much, or in your face. So yeah, other than that, I think that's the end of the tutorial. So If you liked it, then I would really appreciate a rating. It makes me happy. Yeah, so other than that, I guess I will see you later. If you need any more help, just feel free to ask and I will answer if I can, of course. Yeah, so goodbye.